Hey Doug. Okay, this one is for you. I will, like I said, try and keep it as succinct as I can. I'm aware that you obviously have a whole range of stuff that you already do in the morning, so as promised, I will try and keep this to 10 minutes or less. So, quads. One of the ways that, like I said, I could tell straight away is because of that test. It's called a Thomas test. So as you lay back, your leg was dropping, but your knee wasn't actually creating any bend at all, which tells me that the issue is actually in your quads, which is great because that means we can pull this up and lengthen this and pull the tension off those ligaments around the knee that are just being strained. So, okay, easiest way to tell someone's actual mobility, good old lunge. So you keep your hips level. If you need to put your thumb into the crease, you know I'm quite happy for people to do that to create more space in the joint. Sink yourself forward, right? This here is my ligaments. This is all in my ligaments. Tell you how I can tell this position? Because if I come out of it slightly, tuck my pelvis underneath, and try and sink back down where I'm actually actively kind of disconnecting my psoas because I've tucked the pelvis. So my psoas is now in its lengthened position already. Okay, well now for me to sink forward, it has to use my quads. That's it. That's my lunge. Because I now feel this pulling all the way through the actual main bulk of muscle. Whereas if I don't tuck my pelvis, here, right? No engagement in my quads, very little stretch. Coming out, tucking the pelvis, this is it, this is my stretch. So I want you to stay here, hips square, pelvis really tucked under if your knees still pad it. From here, I want you to bring your hands up, keep the pelvis tucked. This is going to intensify things because you're now creating and working with that front line of fascia that runs through the front of the arm. So we're turning the hands forward, not neutral, we're turning them actively palms forward. Pull the fingertips up, keep all of this tucked under. Keep reaching the fingers up as you try to sink the hips forward. Holy moly. Keep sinking. This is me sinking, by the way. 10, reach up, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool, come out of it. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, swap sides. Same again. Sink down, notice where you get to. Yeah, so again, same for me. It's quite a long lunge. When people look at me, they're like, oh, she's really mobile. No, my ligaments are very mobile, but my actual muscles are really tight. Come out of it. Tuck the pelvis. Start to sink forward again. Probably going to find this is much harder for mobility too. Like I'm way more wobbly in this position because I don't have the range I had before, which means I'm actually way more upright. And you'll notice this when you start teaching. Beginner students have way less ability to hold positions and they look way more wobbly. It's actually just because they don't have the same range. Here, I'm nicely stacked. Everything works. Here, nothing stacked. I'm like, yeah. You can adjust your foot if you need to, but tuck the pelvis under. Start to sink forward again. Palms face forward. Oi, lift up. You're probably going to feel this pulling on that tendon too. Apologies. Don't hold it for longer than feels uncomfortable, but notice the difference between discomfort and pain. Keep sinking. Palms face up. Pull a little bit higher. Cool. Come out of it. Release. Okay. Another really good one, and you've probably done this one before, is actually to use a wall and do the same thing again. This may or may not cooperate with your knee. So you can either use the wall, back yourself up against it, foot goes against the wall, knee goes down, as far back as you can get it, other leg comes in front, oh my god, and try and lift yourself up, okay? Same thing here, we're really just stressing on the quads. I cannot lift myself vertically. I used to be able to go, oh my god, hands on the wall, forget it, this is where I'm at. Find a position you can stay in. It might be that you stay down here for now and just think about, you know, doming into the upper back. Use the ground, use the fingers to push yourself away. Once that feels more comfortable, but you still can't really comfortably stand and hold it, bring your hands on blocks, keep pushing away, keep doming into the upper back. Keep breathing. I know it sucks. Two more breaths. Cool. Getting out of this there's no graceful way. So slowly, hands to the inside tends to work best for me, and I just pull myself forward, swap sides. So same again, if the knee cooperates, goes all the way back, on cushions, things like that. If it doesn't, come into a lunge and use a band to take the back foot. You can use a strap. I find a strap doesn't allow for a huge amount of give, and if the knee starts to hurt and you need to let go of it quickly, it's actually really hard for the hands to kind of observe that it's a knee injury, and therefore your hands need to react. So actually you're better off using a fairly easy band, because that way if the foot needs to drop, it can just drop. Or if you're here, getting yourself into the position again. Same again, so pull in so you're not just collapsing on the thigh. Pull in, push the ground away. And keep thinking about tucking the pelvis under. Again, it's really easy if you just kind of lounge here and hips relaxed. Guess which leg is more bendy. One more deep breath. Good. Release yourself down. You have this to look forward to, the whiny dog. Move yourself, hands to the inside, pull the foot away. Okay, those are the two exercises that I'm going to kind of suggest. If you need to do the other variation, it's literally coming into the same position as you were in before. Trying to do the same thing, but using a band. So you bring it as close to you as you can get, tucking the pelvis under. And again, it just means that if you're like, oh god, my knee's giving way, the band has enough length that it can just stretch and eventually it will drop. Another way of doing this is, obviously if your knees are completely not cooperating, is to come down, no, bend the back knee, keep the hip down, and then lift the chest up whilst pushing, oh my god, the hip down into the floor. Notice that the knee always tracks out sideways. That will depend on how your hip sits. It's not a bad thing. I used to be like, no, everyone has to have their knees together. I have external rotation in my left side, I don't in my right, so it's impossible on my left side. Anyway, palms down, push up, chin in, hip pushes down. Oh my god. Same thing, right? You're hitting into the quad. So, those are the stretches I want you to do. What I'd like, to be honest, is for you to keep trying these in every single week as part of your form review. I want you to repeat the Thomas test, and let's just see what angle we're getting to with the knee. If you can, it would be amazing, to be honest, if you could find someone to push on your ankle just very gently from the front, and just slowly press it in, and just see how much resistance is still there in the quads. And again, every week film that and just see if they can slowly make this active. By them pushing and you not having to do anything, and just see what that range looks like. Okay, alright, I will stop waffling. Have a great day. Bye.